This program is brought to you by NHL Center Ice. Follow the teams and players you want to watch no matter where they play. NHL Center Ice is part of the Rogers Super Sports Pack.
Welcome to Community Close-Up. I'm your host, Sharen Skelly, and today we are going to talk about Earth Day, and it's appropriate because it's a beautiful day outside. As we can see, Joachim Ostertag is outside in the beautiful spring air, and we have guests today, Danuta, Valleau, and Joachim Ostertag. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Welcome. Thanks very much for having us.
We're going to talk about Earth Day because it's quickly approaching. We have actually Earth Day is on the 23rd of April, if I'm correct. Is that right?
Well, officially it's the 22nd.
Oh, is it?
It's a Friday, and we have our event on the 23rd because more people can come, particularly kids.
That's right. I'm wrong. Earth Day is the 22nd, and you're celebrating on the 23rd. That's right, because we can get more and more people out to celebrate on the 23rd. That's right. And that's what we're here to talk about, the celebrations that you are going to have ready on the 23rd for everyone to enjoy, everyone from Grey Bruce. And you have named it the Grey Bruce Earth Day 2022. Is that the title of the celebrations?
Earth Day Grey Bruce.
Earth Day Grey Bruce. Yeah. So Danuta, you are the what we call, are you the chair of the committee?
I chair the meetings. We are a group of 5 people that are working together as a team.
Okay. And Joachim, you are a member of that committee.
Yeah, I am.
So when did you start to organize this? Who thought about it? And when did this all start to come to fruition? Who wants to speak to that?
It started with a march last September.
Okay.
And the vision of one of our members who pulled together a small group to help with that on September 8th. And it was a climate march. And he wanted to do something again and called out for people to join up. And then Joachim joined us. And so the group kind of coalesced into the 5 of us in December, January. And now we've been working with the same group since then, it's 5 people, to put this together. And so we had a bit of a visioning experience meeting in January, I think by then, or it might have been December, when we first started putting together something which is much more than a march and not even a march.
Right, because there's a lot of activities planned.
It's a festival.
That's right.
The idea was to have a real celebration. There have been lots of marches in the past, but we want to have a celebration where everybody can come and everybody's invited, and it's exciting and engaging. So we came up with all kinds of ideas. So we have basically 4 things happening that are interconnected. The first thing is at 1:30 on the 23rd, we have the water ceremony with Shirley John at the river. And then we have the gathering at the market, the canopy. The whole thing happens after the farmers market is over. And that starts at 2. And then at 3 o'clock, we have a parade going around the river over the bridges, where kids can show all their kind of paper mache things and costumes, and stilt walkers and bands and music. So it's a very kind of positive experience. And then we have a concert at the end with Coco Love and Drew McEver, also at the market. So it's a really full afternoon with all kinds of activities.
Now, you've mentioned quite a few things, and so some of our viewers may not even be familiar with some of these things. So we'll start off right from the beginning. You mentioned a climate march. Now, for some of our viewers who may not be familiar, now they should be familiar, but some people may not be familiar with some of these things. What is a climate march, and what are you talking about climate? What are you talking about?
Do you want me to start on that, Joachim?
Oh, sure, go for it.
Okay. Well, we're steering away from doing that because we want to do something which is much more engaging for the community. And we also want to listen to people, and we want to have conversations happen. So this is really something very different. And that's what we've come up with. The first idea was to reach out to the community and ask, what's happening on Earth Day? And we want to make something happen. So would you like to join us? Mm-hmm. So it has become an enormous project, but a very interesting one, of talking to so many people and community groups, organizations, businesses, individuals who are involved in related things, like the Grace Harbor Conservation Authority, like the Bruce Trail, like the Eat Local Grey Bruce people, like the climate action groups themselves, because Earth Day is about climate and about the planet. So following on that theme, we've pulled something really interesting together involving the community, which is what we want to do, is talk to people and people talk to us.
And you're talking about climate change. So
we're talking about, sustainability, about how we go forward in the best possible way, about how we help each other do this, and about what people can do, people that don't know what to do and are worried about climate change and understand that it is real, that gives them options and a place they can come and ask questions and talk about it and meet people and find out what is happening in their own community.
Mm-hmm. So that is why someone might be, I'm just wondering, why would someone want to come to this event? Is that the theme of Earth Day this year, climate change?
Actually, it is an underlying, because climate change is underlying everything these days in some way. However, we chose to have it as a community engagement day where we all get together in a positive way. Because one thing is to look at the things that are difficult, that are dark, that need to be changed, where we all need to engage. But the other thing is there's a lot to celebrate, right? We all live on this planet. And so we actually turned this whole thing on its head in some way, that we celebrate the positive things where we are. Mm-hmm. So in leading up to the Earth Day, we had 2 paper mache workshops, which you might have heard about in the media. Yeah, we had over 50, 60 people making paper mache animals and creations and masks, and people will bring them to the Earth Day event. So it's really a positive thing, because what is so important is that we get together. We also during the time of COVID, we have been in isolation for a long time now, and people feel desperate. People feel desperate to do something,
right?
Because you don't know at all. And it's also important that we know that this planet is really worth protecting. This planet is really worth working for, and it's a good planet. It's our Mother Earth, right, that we live on. And you also have very strong communities, and there's a lot of resilience. There's a lot of resilience in our community in making change. So we hope that by coming together, that we explore some of these things, how we can work together, how we can move forward, because many of us feel stuck. So the main thing was we wanted to have a really positive experience of that day.
And you are. It sounds like it's going to be a very uplifting, positive, energetic type of event. And it sounds like it's something for everyone, from children right up to seniors. And there's something for everyone to enjoy and to learn from. There's something for us all to learn from.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was the main goal, that it's kind of really reaching everybody. So Danuta mentioned, or you mentioned earlier, the climate marches. They are usually just very small groups. Very few people come to them for whatever reasons, and it doesn't really matter. This Earth Day is very different. This Earth Day is a celebration. And for instance, under the canopy at 2 o'clock, we have the gathering, and there will be all these local groups showing off things that we can do. There will also be face painting for kids, puppet theater, storytelling. And it's so exciting how many community groups come together. Mawikkedong is one of our partners. Sharen is one of our partners. And it's almost like a fair. It's almost like a fair where we can look around and see what we can do, what is fun. Because if you can't enjoy who we are and where we are on this planet, it's very tricky to make any changes.
It is. Now, another thing that you mentioned was Shirley John. She's going to do a water ceremony, you mentioned. For some of our viewers may not know the name Shirley John. Who is Shirley John? Can you introduce her to our viewers?
I can do that. I met her many times. Shirley John is an elder from Saugeen First Nations, and she has done a lot of work in this community in respect to truth and reconciliation, education on indigenous teachings. She also teaches at the college. She was very much part, and still is, part of the Gitchiname Wikmadong Healing Garden at Kelso Beach, which you might know of. Yeah, Shirley John, she shows up all over the place.
She's everywhere.
Yeah, which is fantastic. She did water walks, and she did lots of stuff in celebrating water, protecting our waters.
That's right.
Water is life, she says, and I think we all can agree on that one.
That's right. So it's an honor to have her there. And so for our viewers that aren't aware of her, it's an honor to have her in our community. And so I just wanted, for those that weren't familiar with her, to just mention who she was. So you hope to have some discussions out of this day. And is there going to be a discussion time at this day too?
It will be more up to people what they want, because there will be we have more than 30 interested groups in having booths at our event and having displays. So there's going to be a huge variety of different people to talk to who are coming from different aspects of the community. Farmers and the public health unit is going to be there, and the library is going to be there, and Grey County is going to be there. I mean, I can't list them all, but in a sense, there are some of the local climate action teams are going to be there. And also, as Joachim said, a lot of activities for children. So we're hoping that way everyone will be able to be engaged, and it will be entertaining at the same time as informative. But it's up to people. I think the conversations will happen. We're not guiding it. It's for people to come and see and find out and see for themselves what they want to know more about.
Yeah, I think the great thing is having the connections. So people can connect with this. Glassworks will be there. That's a great project about affordable housing and greenhouse gas emission neutral village with farming and everything, and with the Mawikadong people, just to have conversations. Because many of us have never met each other. Like, we never meet each other. Where do we meet? So this is such a great way. That's a forum or festival or a fair. And I hope that the conversations will come afterwards. So people hear about it. People can sign up and leave their contacts, and we can talk later. We also, an important thing is that Earth Day is not just an isolated event that happens one day in a year. Some of us would say every day is an Earth Day. And we also want to make this to an annual event next year again. But in between, we can talk and we will connect and give also people opportunities to connect with different groups. So people do different things. So one activity that we have is the What to Do wheel, and we developed, and Danuta is part of that group, a wheel with all kinds of things that we can do actually to connect with nature and to make change. So, for instance, going for a walk, building a garden, reading about nature, reading about climate, up to talking to politicians, and so on, right? So there will be very concrete things that people actually can do.
Yeah, some of them are frustrating, talking to politicians, that's one. But you have to start, and you have to be, you have to keep doing it. And eventually you do see change. But you have to garner support and get out into the community and just keep keep doing it. You have to be tenacious, but eventually you do see change. Another thing, you must need volunteers for this day. It doesn't just happen with a small group of people. So do you have volunteers? Do you need volunteers?
We are welcoming people to volunteer in this wonderful event. I think they'll find it a very rewarding experience because we are really focused on a positive experience and we want it to benefit everybody. We need more volunteers. We are gradually growing a number of people to help on the day, and the kinds of things we need help with is just helping people get set up. We're looking for marshals for the parade, which we haven't talked a lot about yet, but it's going to be quite an event. And we want to make it very safe for people. And the route we have planned is not crossing any roads. It's going along the river, crossing a bridge along the river on the other side, crossing the other bridge and back to the markets. So we're going to get people to volunteer to be in the parade as marshals just to help us get around those corners. And it's going to be amazing. They've got the Durham Sauntering Band coming to lead it. And I think there are about 20 instruments and the stilt walkers. And apparently they're going to have, I don't know, Noelle said she's got something secret planned, Joachim, like giant puppets and things in the parade. Paper mache workshops were in preparation for the parade. So this is something happening between 3 and 4, which should not be missed. But we do need volunteers.
So if you want, it would be a great experience, but it would also count for hours. If the children still need it at high school, I have no idea. They did at one point, but with COVID, who knows if they've, made an exception now. Who knows if they still need volunteer hours, community hours for students. But nevertheless, it would still be a great experience for a high school student or any student. Volunteer. Adults volunteer too. But if they want to volunteer, how do they do that? How do they get in touch with you?
We have a Facebook group,
right?
Earth Day Grey Bruce, and also we have a website, which is for our kids, Earth Day Grey Bruce. I think, and through that we're using a link. It's an online called signup.
Okay.
Signup.com. We're using a link that we have the link on our Facebook page, on our web page, and we also have an email that people can contact us on, which is earthdaygb22. Is that right, Joachim? At gmail.com? Yes.
Yeah, so if people
email address for that, but
if people don't remember all the details, if you Google Earth Day Grey Bruce 22 or something like that, it'll come up.
It comes up, yeah. You just have to Google Earth Day Grey Bruce and it comes up. Really, it's quite fabulous. It comes up Earth Day 22, 2022. Now, nothing operates without money. I mean, you always need money. Do you need any donations of any sort? Do you need any sort of financial backing? Do you need any, sponsors, anything like that?
Yeah, actually, we have some great sponsors, right? We have Caframo, At Last for Schools, Cooks, Meridian, Josie's, Shearer, Grey Roots, like all kinds of SMC groups that support our Earth Day. At the same time, we need more because we have the concert. We need all kinds of infrastructure that costs money.
Right.
So when people go on the website, they can get the information too. It's really, really, really easy to donate money to this event. Doesn't matter how much, $5, $10, $20.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's great because it's a worthy cause, and like we said earlier, people will learn and there will be discussion. It will open up discussion, and if someone goes there and has no idea what climate change is or how it affects the community or their own household, and they come away with a little bit of information and make one small change, it was worth it. Go ahead. If someone-
I have a brief list of our sponsors, if you would like me to name them here.
Sure, go ahead.
Our presenting sponsor is Bayshore Broadcasting. Our event is supported by Sheater and the Sustainability Project. And our sponsors are Meridian Credit Union, Caframo, Cook's Geothermal, SMC Geomatics, Josie's Fashions, At Last Forest Schools, the Grey Bruce Labour Council, and Grey Roots Museum and Archives.
Thank you very much to them. And so, because it's a worthy event, and we really need that in the community. Everyone needs a celebration like this right now. And, you know, we have seen a lot of the effects of climate change throughout COVID, even. If we look at the last 2 years, you know, watching the climate events that have happened, and all the, you know, the fires, the floods, the winters that we've had. Some of them have been warm, and some of them have been very cold and snowy. And I know, I think you have, Joachim, some family out west in Vancouver. I know my daughter lives in Vancouver, and the weather has been, she's been there for 10 years. And if you look at the last 10 years, it's not like it has been. It's just been so extreme from what it was 10 years ago. So even here, it's not the way it used to be. So we have to admit that, you know, there is some effect on the climate with what we're doing now isn't working.
There's a lot more awareness now about the fact that climate change is actually happening. It's a reality.
Yes.
And we get reports every day in the news about how successful or how not successful we are politically. The depressing thing about it is when you don't know what to do about it. So although we know about it, so feeling demobilized is not a very good feeling. And I think this is one of the major kind of drivers of this event, that you want to give people an opportunity to get out of this sense of being immobile. And if it's just getting together, like having a community, and Owen Sound has so much potential as a strong community in so many different ways, that's already a first step. So that we can talk to each other, even if you don't have a solution. The solutions are complicated, but there are things that everybody can do, even if it's a small thing, and there's paths to greater change. So that's what we try to do. And we have children involved, because, I mean, children are the ones that really sense what's going on. And they are the one who have to live with the consequences. So it's our responsibility. And talk about indigenous teaching, right? We are responsible for 7 generations. So I think I feel really positive about this event. I mean, it's a lot of work, but every time we get together, I feel, this thing is coming together like a big puzzle. Can you hear the birds behind me?
Yes, I can. It's interesting. Yesterday, of course I'm in my room because we're broadcasting from home, and I had my window open. I was with my granddaughter, and we heard birds that we were listening to the birds, and I said, those are the birds that we hear in the spring. And I said, oh, they're back. And, you know, just listening to the nature, and it makes you feel good inside. And we need to pay attention to those things and remember that we are their guardians. You know, that's what we are supposed to take care of. And if we don't do that, you know, that's theirs. That's my granddaughter's. And, you know, we have to make sure they're there for them. And if we don't, you know, that's a problem. And we can start to do things about that. If not, at least we can teach our children what they can do to change that. What do you do when, I know I hear naysayers, you know, there is no such thing as climate change. How do you handle that? What do you say when someone says to you, climate change, it's just a hoax?
Invite them to Earth Day.
Yeah, come to Earth Day and see what you think. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's worth having conversations, but we know there will be always some people who deny anything.
That's right.
And we have to live with that. But there are lots of people who are not sure, I think the majority is not sure about what to do. The what to do is the big thing. And sometimes when you don't know what to do, what the alternative is, then you kind of give up. And giving up is not a good thing. And yeah, again, I come back that we live in a big web of everything that's alive, right? And so we can make this web between people and between everything that lives on this planet stronger, and be aware of it and be part of it.
Yes, we all have to take part in, I believe, we have a responsibility to take part in something. We all have to give back to our community. I was taught that from a small child. And some people don't, but most people do. I mean, I meet a lot of people that in a small way do something. You are doing a big part. You're taking a big part. But we can all do something small. And like you say, to the naysayers, invite them to Earth Day. But we can all start small. We can all make a small change. And if we all start making a small change, eventually we'll say, oh, well, that worked. And, you know, I think that there is hope. I do. You have to be positive. We do. We have to be positive. What is one thing we can all do? What small thing can we all do?
We can look at our impact on the environment, how much garbage we put out, things like that, and try to find ways to lessen that impact.
Take a personal survey of what we're doing. Yes. And you know, recycling is one way, but garbage is another. I mean, recycling is one thing, but what we put in the trash is another. So actually decreasing what we put out. Yeah. What about you, Joachim?
Well, we can do what we're doing right now. Talk about it.
True. That's right.
It is a big thing. And also it's kind of logical, but it's one of the more difficult things. Like some things we don't want to talk about. Just like in other situations in our life, in our family life, you know, in our personal life, there are things we don't want to talk about, kind of those dark sides. But actually, once we do, and we find a community, it feels a lot better than being isolated.
That's right. And it's one thing to be with like-minded people, but when it's better even to try and talk to someone who's having difficulty with the concept, that's even better. Well, thank you for joining us and talking about Earth Day Grey Brews 2022. And if people want to learn more, they can go on to the Facebook page, or they can Google it and go on to the website. You need volunteers. And, you know, financial donations, no matter how small, will help along the way. But better still, join in the festivities. You know, go to the concert, go to the market, join in, watch the parade. That'll even be better. So I wish you luck on the day. I know it's a lot of work, and we thank you very much for doing this for the community. It's a lot of work. I understand. I've done this sort of thing before. Thank you for joining us here on Community Close-Up. And to our viewers, thank you for joining me here. Join us again on Rogers TV. Bye for now. I'm Sharen Skelly.
Thanks, Sharon.
Call the Rogers TV viewer response line, email us, or connect with us on social media.
Are you the type who would keep going or stop? It's not easy to stop when you have an addiction. Legalizing cannabis won't stop addiction. It trivializes its consumption. Let's be vigilant. If you need help, visit portage.ca.
Calling all journalism students, Omni Television is once again awarding scholarships to qualified students pursuing a career in third language journalism.
Canada